Welcome to the Paw-trol's update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Hello, we're back.
We're back. We are. I'm just because in my head I'm like, I was always here. You're the one who came to me and you're back home.
I did, but I meant like for our audience, for
back-
our one listener that listens to us.
This one goes out to you. We're going to start. Sorry, guys.
We're actually here to talk about General Hospital.
Yes. Not talking about General Hospital. So the first thing I have, and I actually really kind of enjoyed it. And after seeing Friday's episode, I kind of understand what's going down. So we're going to start with Obrecht and Anna. And I actually love their scenes together at the beginning of the week. But I find after watching Friday's episode, I think I'm like getting it now and just looking at it through a different lens. How did you feel watching this like heart to heart between Anna, where they re-examine their lives, and not to mention Obrecht taking responsibility and apologizing for having abducted Robin?
Honestly, very early star in this episode because I was just mesmerized by that scene. We got to see little snippets of their growth in themselves and their relationship when they did. I think it was like axe throwing or like the smash room, where they just got to wreck a bunch of stuff and bond at the same time. And all we've been hearing, like an overarching theme for the past couple of weeks, is that people have layers and people can grow and people can change. People can do bad things and recover. Only certain people, the people we like, Obrecht.
And well, also, like in terms of that whole idea, there was also a statement made by Jordan where she said things kind of come full circle in a new way.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I loved that line as well. So seeing that connection and that true emotion, and Anna actually facing some hard truths and saying them out loud, was almost more impactful than Obrecht, because Obrecht, she's very self-aware and she has grown so much, and we are getting to see the softer side of her, you know, like at the baseball game with the foam finger, like we're getting to see this, like the selfie a couple weeks ago, like we're getting to see this other super cute side of her. But Anna's always like, your depiction of her being like the cool cop and the cool grandma is exactly that. She's not willing to face certain things, and the person she's willing to say them out loud to is Obrecht. Like that was so fascinating.
But it's kind of like their cohorts, right? They tell us verbally that Brennan and her came up together, but it's very different. This long-standing dynamic between Obrecht that we've all got to like see play out, and that's kind of huge. Going from this woman led you to believe that your daughter was dead.
Yes.
Okay. And then you're now standing together, and her daughter is pretend dead.
Yeah.
And you're standing there kind of judging to be like, okay, is Jason right in the fact that Obrecht doesn't know? And then you're clocking, she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And she's legitimately grieving. And she's being so sympathetic, you know, like it's the way they've been able to be there for each other. And we've seen a little bit of this, how like frenemies stepped up for each other. And I feel like a really great example is the Carly Elizabeth relationship. Like it was really weird, but then there was such an interesting conversation during Elizabeth talking about how her parents miss so much of their lives. And she was having this hard time with Carly, and it was really weird as an audience member to being like, wow, so shared history is a big deal, because basically Carly lived most of your life with you. Odd as it is. And it's just such a weird reality, because you have Obrecht and Anna there. And to be honest, they actually have a lot of shared experiences and commonalities and ways in which their lives overlap. And I mean, that is huge, right? To have lived your life and been young and all this stuff, and then coming to this point where you're reflecting on your decisions. And while I think Anna, banana, those words are intertwined for me, I do find it super fascinating, you know, Anna exploring herself through Anna. I'm gonna find it. It's hard for me
Let's
to
go
talk.
digging for it. It's okay. Let's go digging for it. Let's make it part of the bit.
Yeah, let's dig for how I can say something nice about Anna. It's just really a struggle. No, but it makes me drawn to her, and it validates the fact that like a lot of her character, it is comical. You know what I mean? Like she's this sort of like failing cop commissioner, and we see it over and over again. Like she's a bit of an Anna banana, and that's her character. But when I'm watching Anna question her choices, questioning her entire life at the WSB, And doing it through this Jocelyn storyline, I don't know, it kind of draws me in because it's this more serious side that I can take more seriously, basically, in terms of Anna. But I just think it was so magic. Like, I was really pulled in, and they had some really, really good exchanges and dialogue, okay? Because when they were talking about Robin,
Yes.
and, you know, their daughters, Obrecht, she had this really cool line. She said something about, like, how kindness can be cruel
Yes.
and empathy merciless. Merciless,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know English. So if anybody can copy paste and make up a word that is a real word, that would be great. And I loved how they talked about who they were, right? Altruist versus opportunist, and the way that they navigated those worlds, right? The way that the WSB can prey on someone wanting to kind of, you know, take over and be in charge and in control and sort of save the world in an egotistical way.
Yes.
And then that other person who kind of wants to make a difference. So it was really interesting having them talk like that, because I mean, Obrecht was not part of the WSB, but they were
Right.
basically saying to us, you know, we were in the same world. It might have looked like we were different sides, but look how we kind of ended up sort of in a similar place, learning similar lessons.
And I think it was Oberg that asked that question, like, what would you say to your younger self? Like, that question's been a
So
really
good.
popular one. And I loved what she said. She's like no more terrorists for her or something along those
No,
lines.
she said, this is my favorite line. I would tell her not to fall in love with a megalomaniacal Danish terrorist. And I was like, yes, that guy dragged you down. Faison dragged you down, Obrecht.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it's Anna who seems to have concluded that she would not have pursued the WSB.
Which was wild.
That's what I'm getting, you know, from
Yeah.
that. So I just thought that was amazing. But looking at that conversation again through the lens of Friday's episode and what they're doing with Obrecht, I love it. I love it so hard. I love it so much, because it's like, again, you know, you talk about like how some characters grow and evolve, and absolutely, right? Every time there's these characters on opposite sides and fans kind of chime in, there's always like, but they also did horrible things. Absolutely. That's totally the thing, though. Everybody has. And depending on the story and the angle that they show us, completely shifts who we suddenly side with. Like, think about the ride they took us on with Nina. It was like, this woman, and then you're like, this woman, yes, go Nina. You know what I mean? And now that Nina kind of like hit this snag, you're still rooting for her. You know what I mean? Like, we all saw the whole Nina journey. She went from normie to crazy to, like, you know, she was learning and growing. And then, you know, you watch her struggle in her relationship with Willow that kind of backfired, right? It didn't do what she wanted it to do, but I'm in a place right now, and on the story that they're telling, I can have compassion. Like, I'm a huge Carly fan, but I was like having a tough time with that view. They get into that physical fight and Carly's crapping on her about being a bad mom. She had a point, but you evolve the Nina character so much that I can't buy this perspective anymore. Because I see her differently. So I think that's the thing. Everyone's done horrible things, and some characters they do allow to redeem themselves, right? Some characters can own what they did and still like themselves, right? Like, Obrecht's not naive. She knows who she is, and that's always what we loved about Ava. It's not that like Ava's so reformed that she's angelic. No, she just knows who she is. She knows that some mistakes she made were so life altering and can really shake you, but it doesn't mean she's never going to make another mistake again. But she just understands that some are more grave than others. And then you have all those other characters like a Lulu, which is so interesting because, like, Bridget's like, what, an international criminal?
Yes.
And now they've created a situation where we're going to take this international criminal, right? We're going to take this woman who strapped Rocco to her belly and held a knife at the baby's parents, okay? And then we're going to sit there and be like, the same woman who literally kidnapped Robin, made Anna think she was dead. Again, Jason loves Obrecht, right? Jason's an Obrecht fan. The person who helped program Dante with some cute words, right?
Totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Until Dante said it today, I was like, yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
So with all of that, they've created a situation where you put Obrecht in a room with Lulu, and part of you's like, oh my God, Lulu, come on.
Right?
Too much. You should go a little. tried to kidnap your baby. Like, she didn't fake its death like with Robin. Get over yourself. Like, isn't that insane? This career criminal, okay? And then you look at like Lulu's journey, right? Her limited time that she's been back, you know, how she handled the whole Brooklyn thing. They built up Lulu's character that you have limited patience for her. So much so that it's not that difficult to side with Obrecht. So even though like when you're watching this, yes, you can shoot the facts out, right? You can list all the things Obrecht did, but the point is they're telling a story, and despite what you know, you're like, yeah, I kind of like her though. By contrast. Isn't that nuts?
It's absolutely nuts. You know what it makes me think of too? Like everybody has been talking to Lulu about how a person is not one thing, how they're multi-layered. Her conversation with Carly about how, you know, Obrecht has changed and grown, and how Britt became, and she's hearing the story from everybody. Everybody shared that story with Brooklyn, but nobody has ever said that, like, just like you, Lulu, like you've changed, you've grown. Lulu is one note. Nobody has ever said to her.
Okay, you're gonna be shocked when I say this.
Oh gosh, I can't.
There was a moment. So you know how earlier I said there was some stuff that Anna was doing that made me go, oh, like really intrigued by her.
Okay.
I had a moment like that with Lulu.
Oh, please share.
It was a moment, but I was like, oh, because there's just been such a layer of ridiculousness when it comes to Lulu. And at first you're like, so Lulu's coming back in a tough time, tough spot. So you can have some empathy, but it was hard for us watching how she took the second chance at life. And then it was like, okay, she needs to adjust. And we saw that instead of adjusting, she fixated on Brooklyn.
Yes.
And for the first time today, I was like, interesting. I could see how all the Brooklyn stuff was just scratching the surface, right? Because Brooklyn is distant, right? Brooklyn is not in her inner world. She's a bit out there. So if you think about it this way, she just honed in on Brooklyn because now Brooklyn has a different role. Brooklyn is close with Dante. Brooklyn is close with Maxie. And I was like, okay, this is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But for the first time, I was like, was it easier to deal with that than deal with what was talked about in the office, that Dante grew closer to Laura?
Mm-hmm.
Rocco go closer to Laura, that they have such a good relationship. And she said, I'm so glad everybody managed. And you guys lean on each other. And I was like, oh, you see? Like she spent so much time in a tizzy with other things that I'm starting, for that moment, I was seeing a real person. But again, it's not fun if she gets all deep now.
No, I can't handle it now.
It's not, but I saw it. Like I saw a real person in there, because usually when you die, it's not like you come back and go, wow, everybody moved on. Everybody survived my death. Good for you. I'm so glad you graduated. Been to actual dead people, but for Lulu, who needs to feel important, you know what I mean? Yeah. And when her mom kept telling her, because the important person here is Rocco, and I love how she had to keep emphasizing that, because Lulu's like, you sure it's not me? I could tell in her head this was really hard, so it's like not me, and everyone's telling me that I have to put Rocco first, and that involves me being uncomfortable. Okay, it was so hard for her, but I don't know. I guess there's that reality too. Life did go on without her. And again, not saying superficial, but there was a focus on the fact that, like, you know what? I still love Dante, everybody. But do you think he's over Sam's death yet? And so then it was like, right? Like Brooklyn is friends with Dante and Maxie. Then it was like, but Dante had this relationship with Sam. Again, all big things. But I guess I never thought of that. Like there was a family formed, like a parental relationship that happened. Like her mom took over as Rocco's mom.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dante developed a close relationship, and they were this trio, and there was like a family unit that stepped up. And as much as she was focusing on Sam's role in Rocco's life, she seemed a little weirded out and heartbroken about the unit that happened around Rocco. And I guess it lends to what she had said and her fear when she said Rocco is starting to see Britt as a mother. And I think that's finally hitting her, that, you know, Dante has this parental role. She sees the influence and the closeness between Laura and Rocco. And rather than seek to build that with Rocco, she's just kind of freaking out at what everyone else has and could have, rather than kind of like building. That's the point. Since she's been back, she's been running around, but she's not been really truly rebuilding her life. She might have gotten a house. She might have tried to get a career, but she didn't in the important ways try to rebuild and recenter herself. She did not.
We still don't even know where the heck she put Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte's literally living her best life, her real life, I mean, out there in the world. But from what I understand, do you remember, I think it was Dante's birthday? She's out with some friends.
Still, okay, got it.
Yeah, so
We have not misplaced her.
Oh, where's Charlotte? Where's Charlotte? I'm like, guys, she's at a friend's house. She's been at a friend's house since Dante's birthday.
Got it. Noted.
Yeah, it's pretty simple if you ask me. Anyway, so like I said, I had that moment with Lulu where I felt like I was finally seeing something real, and for the first time I was seeing the struggle as opposed to the tantrum, I guess.
Which is interesting timing. Like, it comes out in little spurts like that. I'm okay with it, but I do want to see some fireworks when Britt comes back. But then I do want to see that interest, because she'll have no choice, Lulu, to be introspective when Rocco is off at the pool with Britt and Obrecht. Like, she's going, and she won't know how to wrap her head around it. So at that point in time, I want to see her be reflective and question herself and grow as a human being, and maybe use like even Britt and Obrecht as an example as how to be better human.
Yeah, like, just don't evolve on us right now. Like,
yeah, I can't take it right now.
Like you say, like, we've got time for that. But yeah, don't just go evolving tomorrow. But what I find completely hilarious is that up until this point, Lulu is like, I cannot figure out how to coexist with Brooklyn. It's like, Brooklyn's like neither here nor there.
Honestly,
if you step back, it's like, yeah, she's Maxie's friend, and you just don't like sharing a friend, and you've never liked that she's close with Dante. But that, you're like, we cannot coexist. And every time I see her, I have to throw every ounce of anger I have in my life. I have to dig deep down to the first time I remembered I was angry, and I throw that at Brooklyn. But then she's gonna get in a room with Obrecht, and I find this hilarious for somebody who literally made it impossible to just be civil with Brooklyn, to the point where she's even like insulting Maxie. She was lashing out at Maxie. If Maxie ever heard her talk like that, when she was talking to Laura at one point, I have no idea if this is this week or last week, but when she starts saying that Brooklyn's dragging Maxie down with her.
Yeah, that was last week.
Do you know what's so funny? Super funny.
Yeah,
okay,
tell me.
So like the line she's crossing is Brit, and this is why it's gonna be so funny when she comes back, because think about Brit's like life. She's associated to Cody. Right? And so it was bad enough that when she was going through the Brooklyn stuff, she didn't really like the fact that Cody had this long-standing relationship with Brooklyn. What is she going to do when she finds out that like Cody has a history with Britt? And then Brooklyn and Maxie have a good relationship with Britt also.
Exactly. But isn't Maxie and Britt family?
Yeah. Family.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? So already there. And that's the thing. You have to remember, like, Britt's death, Maxie lost Britt. And for her to be like, oh, whatever about her.
I know.
And I think like that was so shocking to the both of them. So I don't know, like, I feel like what's going to happen then? Like, because how is Lulu going to navigate that? Because those people can be around Maxie and she can't tolerate Brooklyn being around Maxie. What is she going to do when Maxie is around Obrecht and, you know, Britt? Like, there's less wiggle room. Like, she's done what she can when it comes to navigating Lulu and Brooklyn. But what is Maxie going to do when it comes to navigating her family, being grateful that Britt is back? Her, you know what I mean? These are her connections to Nathan. Like, where will Lulu fit in her life then? And how much can she give Lulu?
And that's exactly why it's so interesting, because we're really going to see Maxie's point of view on things. She's still giving Lulu so much leeway. So it evolved to, you know, treating Brooklyn and Lulu the same. Then it was, you know, Lulu lashing out at both of them at the pool. Then, you know, Britt's going to come back, you know, like Lulu's going to show up at her house wanting to complain about something, and you have Brooklyn and Obrecht and Britt and Maxie having a good old time at a dinner party, and Lulu's just going to lose her mind.
So do you think that in all of this stuff, because there's a lot going on, there's the Geo storyline, there's what they threw in today, which is funny, because this is what I mean. The way that they're showing the story, it's easy to find room for Obrecht in your heart, right?
Yeah.
And then when she calls herself grandma, we
Oh
know
my gosh.
that's not appropriate. But
No.
because they've like Dawn of date us a little bit when it comes to Obrecht, we're like, we're with you. We're growing with Obrecht. She's sorry for kidnapping Robin. She's sorry for programming Dante. She's just so sorry. So if she wants to be a grandma, I guess so. And it's like, I'm just being led that way. And I'm like, I know this is wrong, but it feels
so good.
It feels so good. So with all of this, you have the Obrecht, right? You have like the Rocco, the Brit, all of it. Is there room for her to make just, I don't know, like one really, really big mistake? is like a big one. Is there room, time for her to sleep with Gio and all this?
Oh yeah, because like Gio and Emma, they got on the. Oh yeah, there's lots of time. I was trying to do the math here, but we're good. We're totally good.
It's so
Approved.
bad though, because she's going through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, like Dante's not gonna like it. I don't think.
No, he better not. He better be so outraged. Because remember, wait, who's talking about this? Oh my gosh, what character is talking about this? Like the type of person Drew is. Like that came up this week, not in the vicinity of Dante, but like what kind of person sleeps with the mother and the daughter kind of thing? Like just the fact that like
Everything really much. We just don't find out about it at the altar. Is and the fact that Alexa said it, like Sam slept with Sunny, Rick, and Dante, and like. You know,
I know.
Like Rick slept with both of them, and so I'm like, that's what I mean. Like everybody's done stuff, everybody. So it's really just about like how much they've grown, what's gone on recently, and how the story is being shown. Right? When you have somebody who's been through it, and then you have someone new making those mistakes for the first time, like yeah, like one is more experienced than the other, one's in a different place than the other. So yeah, of course there are absolutely no saints, just people that want to believe that they are, and that's what irks a lot of people.
So Lulu slept with the dad, she'll sleep with Gio, and then what else was there? Is there like a trifecta?
No, it'll just be like, again, because like you're pointing out, she might feel lost. Because you're right, you have all these people coming in, and I don't know, like, I don't know if Lulu feels guilty that before this happened, that maybe she would have wanted her relationship with Rocco to be more strong, to be more solid. And I think that's hard, right? It's hard when you have a teenager, they're pulling away from you, but it is different for Dante. Look at him. Look how much he's angry at Obrecht, but he has like a solid place with Rocco, and Laura has a solid place with Rocco.
Yes.
And rather than kind of like addressing that, there's kind of like no time for the time being, right? So like Lulu doesn't feel tethered enough to Rocco. And of course, that's what makes all of this like even more of a threat than it would be just because of the nature of the situation. So I think it's a tough place for Lulu to be in, because there is no space anymore, right? When she came home, she was busy and running around doing other things, and there wasn't a lot of space for Rocco. And now there's this thing happening where Rocco's going to be busy and there's going to be a lot going on in his life that there's not going to be a lot of space for her. It's an interesting flip between the Lulu-Rocco relationship when we're just looking at the two of them.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And it makes you look at that scene a little bit differently, kind of how Nina, the way that she was treating Willow versus Sasha. But the trifecta check mark for Dante was the fact that he told Lulu to stay away from Gio and then just sleep with him. And then he'll be really mad because that's not staying away.
For sure. Like whether you tell someone to stay away from your son or not, you know, your ex-wife specifically, I think it just would make you upset. You'd kind of be like, I didn't think I had to give you that instruction, but you know, so we're going to see how that goes. And I will say this, when I see Dante in some scenes, oh, sorry, not Dante, but Gio, I'm starting to see like a little bit of Dante in there. Like sometimes when he's like, oh, like, you know, Mr. Big Bad Boss, it's like he's more sunny. But when I saw him this week, especially when it comes to the little caper in the lab, I find that chivalry way more Dante. Like when he's playful and chivalrous, I definitely see more of that like early Dante. But I think that when you talk about Lulu eventually evolving and you talk about those themes, right? Everyone, and I really loved it. I loved all those conversations where people had to go, well, you know, I know you weren't here to see it, but Obrecht's different, you know? But it's different. A lot of people just talking about exactly what you're saying. This theme that somebody is not just one thing, despite how like horrible their actions were. But with Carly though, there's some things I'm like, okay, but this isn't accurate to me, and I'm like not enjoying this. Because when Lulu was like, oh, you're not gonna team up with me, it's like Carly has a lot. She's a life, right? And she's trying to create space to have a personal life.
Yes.
She's got kids. Maybe she doesn't want to scheme. You know, like maybe she's like not top of my radar, like 100% you're a Spencer, we're family. But Lulu immediately goes, you don't want to help go against Obrecht because of Jason. And I'm like, Yes, she admitted that that's a part of it, but I'm like, why isn't the fact that Britt died saving Jocelyn more at the forefront? Because
Right?
absolutely, Obrecht stepped up and saved Willow, and the fact that Lulu couldn't understand that, but you hate Willow now, it doesn't matter. That moment is real. In that moment, we were desperate, and she came in, and the fact that like Lulu tried to rip away that value, that just because
Yeah.
the relationship goes in a direction you never thought it would, that it meant nothing at all. It's not so black and white. She could feel how she feels about Willow now, but she loved her once and she wanted to protect her once. She walked her down the aisle once. And honestly, even though things went awry, it doesn't erase all of that and it doesn't make it any less real. I just found it so disrespectful when she said, "What do you care what happens to Willow?" Well, I don't like her, but I don't want her to like die.
And that's what's so interesting. It's like Lulu is such a new human. It's like when Nina first
Mhm.
started navigating her fashion business or just started interacting with other human beings or encountering the drama of what is Port Charles and how she handled it, how she viewed herself. So watching Lulu go through this, yes, there was a 4-year pause in her life, but she's still not an inexperienced teenager. So
No,
it's so interesting.
no. And so that I found like interesting, but I was glad that Carly was able to kind of challenge her because I think she needs that, right? The last thing
Yes.
Lulu needs is someone to enable her anger, lean into scheming, and try to
Mm.
stay focused.
Yes.
The other thing about her conversation with Carly, and honestly, this is a theme that repeats with everyone when they try to talk to her about Obrecht, is that everyone is saying we're not asking you to forget, right?
Hmm.
She wants everyone to respect her position. And multiple times people are like, yes, we're telling you that Britt changes, she's not the same person, but nobody's saying you need to forgive her or feel differently. But what she is asking everyone else to do is erase what they know. She's like, don't force me to forget what happened, but you're also asking them to forget everything else that they know and that of Brit and everything that happened after and when you weren't around. And
Exactly.
she doesn't seem to see that. So I do think like all of these more expansive conversations on gray areas and growth that people are more complex, I absolutely think it's like a clue as to the fact that like eventually Lulu will learn to live those words. And maybe it will
Eventually.
take her crossing a line and require forgiveness and she'll have to navigate that. Like I might have done this thing that no one approves of, like sleeping with Gio. And
Hmm.
now I have to come back from this and I have to maybe reflect on everything.
Well, let's hope she learns something eventually.
I mean,
I
I
know we're
don't,
not hopeful.
yeah, whatever. So in talking about Carly for a sec, and just the fact of how she's navigating these conversations, right? Her conversation with Lulu, giving her a lot of that space, you know, even conceding, like, well, if you can prove to me that Obrecht's a danger, sure, I'll scheme with you. And she's
Yeah.
playing that more mature role. She's like, I'm an adult. I go to wineries on the weekend. And then we see her kind of navigate her relationship and that conversation with Lucas. Like she's sitting there after he like, you know, complained to Felicia about Carly. She's like, you know, I'm so sorry for talking badly about Brad. That whole thing was super real. And I'm so sorry about judging Marco. He's also real for a less amount of time, but super important. And I'm just sitting here like being, oh my gosh, I just can't with you. Like, whatever it is that you think about Sunny also applies to Sidwell.
Oh
You
my
do not
gosh, right?
have to be directly in the mob to be negatively impacted, right? Because Carly was never in the mob, right? And he
Hmm.
feels like you're making excuses, blah, blah, blah. Like, Marco is not in the mob like Carly, but he is very much in the know.
Oh yeah. He'll be shocked.
And Lucas is so naive. Marco understands and has no illusions about the world that he's in and no
Hmm.
illusions about what Sonny did, responded the way he did, not because it was a cop out, but because he knows how to navigate this world. And Lucas cannot see, can't notice how Marco navigated it and what his choice because he's so consumed about his anger. And right now, Marco is framing this choice as let's just make it easier on everybody and easier on you. Let it go. He's not going into detail. So I do agree with the fact that Carly kind of says like you're being blind and a bit like willfully blind in the situation. And while I don't want anything to happen to any of their loved ones, I kind of want Lucas to see Marco and his dad for who they really are. Like, I'm sorry, you're sitting there all huffy and puffy because you felt she insulted your 2-week relationship after throwing Morgan in her face. Like, come on.
And to put the cherry on top, he's running away from Carly to move in with Ava.
Oh my gosh. Mel, before I even saw that scene with Ava, I was like, oh, I should record that because I feel like something's gonna happen and I could definitely use that clip of Lucas. Because at one point when he was talking to Carly, he's like, I'm a grown-up. I'm a doctor. And I'm like, I'm sure I'm gonna save this because at some point he's gonna do something stupid
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I'll have that clip to be like, I'm a grown-up. I'm a doctor. And it didn't take long. All of a sudden, Ava's like, my nephew's living with me. And I'm like, you just said you're a grown-up and you're a doctor. And you weren't actually going out in the world alone. You were just going to Ava.
Who has a 1-bedroom apartment.
2 probably for Avery.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that whole thing is really, really special. And even the ADA is all I have to say. All I have to say. Like, literally, this is her job. She bombards Marco. He's meeting with Tracy, and I loved it. The fact that Tracy was there is telling her, like, not right now, like, you're interrupting, and Sidwell. And she's like, this cannot wait. I'm about to say something that is not an emergency. It's really just, like, my opinion. I'm coaxing you on my personal time. Like, you're not in uniform. You're in this dress, and you're like, are you really going to say that? Is that really your statement? I'm like, that's what you got.
Wow.
That's what you got. And then she goes to find Sunny to be like, oh, you're a cheater in baseball. I know it. And I'm like, okay, clever.
Jason's face acting, staring at both of them interacts like, what the F is happening right now?
It's like, you know how I do. You know, she thinks she's in control. I'm in control. Like, you've seen this done before. It's like, it's hilarious. And then the whole, like, oh, you didn't have to. She's like, so you told your entire team, your entire baseball team, I'm fine. I can walk. Sunny, help me. And I love his plan. He's like, I want people to continuously see us together.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm surprised. I love it.
And then I'm like, he brought up the judge to the ADA. I love how he dropped these like massive, like, look, we're starting up that story again. Yeah. You remember at the hearing, like, Michael got custody and then we showed you a scene where Sidwell paid off the judge and we're like, what does that mean? Well, we told you what it meant. Sidwell told everybody what it meant. And then Sunny's like, yeah, that judge. And so, like, that's going to be, like, her avenue.
Yeah.
It's going to be her avenue, but it's also so muddy, right? Because it's like money, it's the son, it's family. This is where she's going to like hesitate on her principles.
Oh, this is probably at the point where they would have already either made out or gone a little too far.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Do you know what also happened when they were together? Sunny and what's her face? They asked for not Willow.
Ooh, yeah. But he did it respectfully.
Oh, yeah. It was good. It was so good. And then when she was talking to Isaiah after, she's like, yeah, like my life, it's a mess. Can't believe it. Drew dodged a bullet. And then she spilled the beans about Drew blackmailing Portia.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? She tells this to Isaiah. And this happened like a few days ago. And she didn't care. You're a changed woman now. I was like, this is nuts because every time she kind of goes like she's painting a picture to Chase.
Yep. Gosh, I cannot with him this week.
Responsibility, okay, and I'm gonna do it just with us in private, okay? And then when I see Carly, I'm gonna like put on this show. Watch me. Hey, Carly, you were right. As she turns back to make sure Chase is watching. Right? So right. I'm sorry. Carly's like, no, you know.
I love that interpretation of the scene.
Because she just is like, you don't need to apologize to me. And I loved it because I don't know what the obsession is, but like her, Drew, they're like, let's see how much we can put Carly into the middle of all this.
I know, it's bananas.
And she's going to her as if I apologize to Carly, I'll get my kids back. And she's like, ew, no, talk to Michael. You know, your baby daddy. I don't care. But Chase is going down a slippery slope, right? Because
so Brooklyn
doesn't need to be saved, right? She's going through it. He knows it. And even though Chase is typically like super supportive, he's like, so let's adopt a baby. You want to continue? And I'm just like,
I
read
could
the room,
not with
Chase.
this man.
Read the room. Like, I totally get it. He's just like, it really felt like Chase was like, okay, things feel like they're on pause. It's like, yeah, they are. And I don't know if he's like bored or feels stuck or feels helpless. But the point is, yeah, like things kind of have to sort of stop and settle, and Brooklyn's going through a really hard time. And yeah, it really did change things. And then he sees Gio, and given his conversation with Brooklyn, I thought he would have done something. And he was like, hey, Gio's like, hey, like, how are you? Good. Me too. And I'm like, wow, Chase, look at you go. Look at you go for what you want and try to help that situation. And I couldn't believe it. He's like, I really want to adopt a baby. So, I mean, I don't know. He's an adult. Shouldn't he just let it go now?
So Chase adopted a Willow. He really wanted somebody he can take care of, defend, protect.
Well, because like I think it's funnier when you put it that way, because he could adopt a baby, he's adopting Willow. Because when I looked at that, I'm like, well, because Brooklyn doesn't need that, right? Like, she's going through a hard time, but she doesn't need him to like literally pick her up off the floor. She just needs to like live their lives, and he just needs to like be there, be nice to her, and have dinner with her. But like, he can't help her go through her feelings. He just can't.
Yes.
And it's funny because it's the lecture that Elizabeth gave Drew, and during that whole lecture and interaction, I'm like, this is a crime. Why is she allowing him to talk to her? Why isn't she getting a restraining order? I hate being Elizabeth. And then it occurred to me, I'm like, oh, you used to love him. He lived with you. Because he's changed so much, I totally forgot their history. And it's terrible, right? Because they were so close, Elizabeth and Drew. You know, even when she was with Franco, there was just this bond, right? Because Franco and Drew were brothers. I was like, yeah, like once I remembered that, I'm like, this is so like ugly. Because I'm like, why is she being like, I know you feel bad. I'm like, why is she being this compassionate? And I'm like, oh yeah, she knew him way back when.
She just has the patience of a saint. I don't really get it.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted her to be a bit more in your face, but I loved what she said. He's like, she doesn't have anyone. And I like how she tiptoes around that, because even when Willow attempts to take accountability, she doesn't take full accountability. And Elizabeth is not really touching that. She's just sort of giving her the space to kind of come to on her own. But I loved when she told Drew she's not alone. She has a support system and a community.
I love that a lot. And you saw him go, like, he was really, I find, like, even when he walks in with Portia, when he's walking in, he's coming in like with force, with anger, with the level of creepiness, the close talking. Like, it gives me the creeps, honestly, when I see him alone in a room with one of these women. And you see him physically give space between them, and actually you can see his energy kind of drop a little bit. Like, he did such a good job of, you almost think that he gets it.
I do think that because he's there with Elizabeth, he knows he has to be a bit more careful, right? This is a person he knows and knew and had a relationship with. It's so different, because you're right. It absolutely was toned down, but I love the comment Elizabeth made, because he started barking about like Nina and how much he doesn't care about her. And she says, I know you meant that to come out less aggressive than it sounded.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And so he has to, he doesn't know what to do, because he can't overpower. He can't sway her. This is somebody who like knows him, and there is no like conflict or animosity. And no matter what, like, Elizabeth is not in a position like everyone else, and she's being really careful not to be in any camp, right? So he can't turn around and blame Elizabeth. Oh, you're on this camp, that camp. She's really not vilifying anyone, and she's really trying to have this conversation and stick up for Willow and really stick to the message that you need to give her space. But you're right, he toned it down, but it was still there, and you can see that Elizabeth knows that the person she once knew isn't in the room anymore. The same way it is when she's with Willow. She's not in the room.
Anybody in there?
No. So, Mel, you have Brooklyn, who's kind of dealing. Chase finally feels needed. So needed that he went to talk to Michael and tried to play the "you stole my wife" card.
How enraged were you?
I was like, Chase, you're married now. And I thought it was so disrespectful. And it's so
Yes,
not
thank
Chase.
you.
He comes in hot and is like, well, you stole my wife. And I'm like, Chase, do
Ex-wife.
you know who, like, what? Like, I kind of wish that Brooklyn heard that, because you're positioning yourself as Willow's keeper and her person. And that's so not him. But I mean, it's the first step, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. Jordan said it herself. It comes full circle in a new way. But I don't know. Like, I don't want it. I
I
don't want
don't
it.
want it.
I don't want it. But he could. He might. Because what if, you know, again, adopting a baby, like we're watching that. That's the first crack, right, in the
Mhm.
marriage. Like, he wants a baby and that's being put on pause. And the reality is that this whole Geo thing kind of means that Brooklyn could land with a child and him no. Okay? And she's also landing with a child with Dante, right? And so what if, let's say, Geo kind of comes around and is back in her life, and that's where her attention kind of goes, and that also pulls her in a little bit closer to Dante.
They did have that long hug.
Yes, and we all know that long hugs mean future affairs.
We really do. We truly do.
I mean,
We've done the
1
studies.
+ 1 = 2. And this is what I'm thinking. This is my theory. I don't know. So obviously, Anna knows more and is on top of things when it comes to Emma, more than Emma would really like. And she knows exactly what she has planned. It's just, I don't know. Part of me is like, Gio, you really need to listen to Emma. Like, for real though. Like, she has a record, you don't. You're saying you have nothing to lose, but like, it's absolutely not a good idea that you do this. But my concern there is that if he gets into legal trouble, that's tough, right? Because you have Dante, and obviously, like, hoping this guy recuses himself for years, the battle, the inner struggle with Sonny. He's my dad, but I can prosecute him. No, there's such a thing as like recusing yourself. Like, you don't have to arrest your dad. And so in this situation, if Gio gets into legal trouble, would he lean on the Quartermaines to help him out of it? Because we saw Tracy help Emma out of her legal trouble before.
Ooh, I kind of like this direction.
So, like, if something happens, you know, he might then lean on his family. And we heard, right, a crack in his whole facade about like how much he misses his family. And like I said, like, I know that there's no timeline, but this dude is not spending Christmas alone. Like, he's absolutely gonna want to be with them. Like, like, we all knew the anger would fade and he'll remember these people. And I do think Gio is capable of understanding that people are more than one thing, right? He's learning that about Sonny.
Oh yeah, big time. That has to be some big, actually it's going to be the Thanksgiving episode, because Thanksgiving in the States is huge.
Yes. So anyways, I was just wondering if possible legal trouble would force him to lean on the Quartermaines and therefore be in Brooklyn's vicinity, which would then cause friction with Chase. Right? No, because I'm thinking to myself.
Tell me more.
No, because you brought up American Thanksgiving, but we also know that like in the fall, like in October, Willow has her court date. So I think also there things will be good. And there's a lot of time between now and then for Chase to build more of this relationship with Willow. And also the fact that like Michael finally figured out the whole Daisy thing, that it doesn't make sense that henchmen don't like
change
you don't
onesies,
go,
like we said.
Yeah. So he puts that together, tells Dante, and he refrains from telling Chase. And it's just, you know, at the end of the day, no matter how many times Willow tries to have a normal conversation, she tantrums the moment she doesn't get what she wanted. And she says to like Chase or to other people, or maybe when she's alone, about, oh, I made mistakes, but she hasn't fully taken accountability. Like, she's not stable.
No, but it reminds me so much of Nina. Like, I did bad things, whatever. Like, when are they going to forgive me? I've done nothing to deserve this forgiveness, but where is my status? Where is my forgiveness? Where are we, people?
Yeah, like the whole, like, I'm not with Drew anymore. And I'm like, this was never blackmail. It was never dump Drew and I'll give you your kids. It's more like who you've become as a result of this relationship and what you have done at all costs for this relationship. And anyways, we're like, in all of this, I'm not necessarily hearing Willow go, yeah, like, I have time to get my life together and I really need to go to therapy.
Right. Wouldn't that be nice to hear?
Well, especially because she made those connections with Dawn of Day, right? She said it herself.
Which I loved. We get a glimpse that she's still living in there, but there's still a big journey, a detour in Nelleville to come back to Willowland.
Oh my gosh. So good. Nelleville? Willowland? Oh, I have to use that.
Sometimes they
Yes,
hit.
that's going to be the description. It has to work its way into the description on Saturday. You've made my life easier. And when you talk about how like Willow is still in there, I think that's the thing, right? Like there's sparks for us, but we're like, no, like your majority is still cuckoo bananas. But with Chase, I think that little bit of good is like is taking up a bigger space and just really inputting himself into the Michael situation. And I was just shocked. I'm like, but I thought you had a brain, Chase, because you saw what was going on. Like you were really concerned about Willow and her losing herself. You were trying to encourage her to kind of make her own decision and not be swayed. So I did think it was so bizarre because I'm like, this isn't about Michael being cruel. And the fact that you're a cop, this is what I mean, like a little bit out of character for Chase to show up and position himself as like, hey, she was my wife and you stole her, and then to go give her a chance. You're asking Michael to go against the judge's order, and you are in law enforcement. You actually took Willow's kids and brought them back to the Quartermaines. You were very concerned about a lot of things. So it is kind of odd that he's being so emotional about it.
So the only way I can make sense of Chase's reaction is because he's always this like strong supportive person. Like you said, he's more of the saver, and this relationship with Brooklyn is lovely because they're both strong, but he also still has this need to
absolutely
be who he is and like reach to his like natural self. But at the end of the day, when everything went down with Gio, like a lot of his relationships went crashing, like his relationship with Dante, his relationship with Brooklyn, as much as he loves her, that has changed. All the people that were closest to him, their lives have been so greatly impacted, including his own. But all he's done is support people at this point in time and be understanding and be patient and be there for them. And we haven't really seen him lose it or have somebody that he can truly be honest with and not sound selfish, but just the fact is he is allowed to have a reaction to this, a true reaction to the situation as well. So now we have him with all the cracks glued together, but a whole bunch of holes like Swiss cheese. And here you have this Willow, and he's just like, I just need help, somebody. I didn't process my feelings for something else, so I'm gonna take hers, I'm gonna take mine, and I'm gonna sound like this to Michael.
Like you pointed out, his whole life also got derailed and he doesn't feel like he had control. Prior to this, him and his wife were like building this future, right? Prior to this, he found out he couldn't have kids, and that really hurt him, and he felt like he had failed Brooklyn. And then they finally grieved this, and he learned all of these, secrets about having had a child, and he was so supportive, but they were still on this road, right? So it started with this helplessness he felt when he learned that he couldn't have kids and dealing with that, and then learning that he really, really, really wanted one. And then they both came to a place where they were comfortable adopting, and that all stopped. So you're right. There is a lot of grief on Chase's part. It's just rather than using that moment with Brooklyn to have like, hey, let's resume the adoption, is maybe just saying like, hey, I know this is so hard for you, but like, do you mind if I talk to you a bit? Like, this has been, so much has changed in our lives since learning about Gio. And I think she would have done it. It's why it kind of always bugged me with Willow. It's like she never had the one conversation with Michael, and she let everything sort of slip away. And with Chase, part of me is like, don't do it. You guys are so good together. And all you had to do was just be vulnerable and stop trying to be the hero and allow Brooklyn to support you. And that bugs me.
Oh, I 1000% agree with you. You know who's another relationship expert?
Okay.
So Curtis once again makes a unanimous marital decision to resume the friendship with his ex-wife.
Besties! This makes no sense.
I was just dying. You have them, like, they're really throwing them together. The, like, intimacy between Isaiah and Portia, and the way, like, Stella caught her.
Stella, love it.
Funny. And it's like, look, I was so happy that, like, he told Jordan, because the moment Drew had approached Curtis and being like, I want a truce, I'm like, oh, here we go. Under any condition, I wouldn't trust Drew, but since I want to believe what he's saying for the sake of my own sanity, I'm going to believe him. And it's just like, no, you want to hear what you want to hear when it comes to Drew. But how? Like, I'm just saying, Curtis, you took away the one thing that made him like a valid human. Like, Willow is the only symbol that is this stamp of approval that he could show the world. He literally can pick her up and go, look, everybody, I'm good too. And then you took that away. Okay. Like, he doesn't even mind whether Scout's in his life or not. But Willow mattered to him. And you took that away. And you're like, I do not think he's going to revenge me on this. Like, I don't think he's coming after our family all. And then friggin' Martin running his mouth about Stella and
I
insurance
could
forms.
not.
And we saw it today. He was like, oh, you too. Yeah, I'm still on this. So now he's going to start trouble there. And for me, this is the beginning of Tracy and Martin's love story, because if Stella is in trouble, that is the only reason those two would team up,
Yes.
right? Because they both love her and they're really accentuating that, how Martin like adores her. So there's that's going to kick off. But I just thought Jordan would maybe knock some sense into him, because he's usually very strategic. But I'm loving what they're doing with Jordan twice this week. I am like loving my job. Is there a lead with Sybil? No, but I'm being challenged and I'm making so much money. And she even made a point of telling Laura she's making triple her salary. And then when
I
she was
love
talking to
that.
Curtis, she's like, I'm buying a penthouse. I'm making so much money. And then he says to her, yes, Jordan, but at what cost? I'm like, dude, triple the amount. Are you not listening?
Exactly. Hello.
Are you not paying attention? She knows the cost. It's in her bank account. It's buying her that penthouse. And then you know what I also think is going to help save my marriage? Is that if I go on the inspection to your new house with you, over the harbor, we shouldn't reminisce. We shouldn't do that. That was wrong. Slippery slope. Your penthouse is just like the one back in Baltimore. I'm like, guys, that's reminiscing, right?
Right?
Didn't we all just agree that reminiscing was dangerous with you two? Yeah,
Well, yes,
it's so...
and then they get caught reminiscing by Isaiah.
I know, but what makes me laugh though, because I get it, right? They did eventually get married, but when they act it like it's all threatening, like we had a past, we're talking about Baltimore, and a part of me wants to laugh and be like, yeah, like Curtis had to beg Jordan to go on a date with him because she wasn't into him like that because of the fact that she had a baby with his brother.
Right.
So
right.
because of that awkwardness for so long, Jordan was like, no, like it's bad enough that I cheated on my husband with his best friend and he was really the father of my baby. I cannot turn around and date his brother. So that was also the reservation. So when you're reminiscing about Baltimore, I'm like, nothing happened in Baltimore. Nothing. Reminisce all you want, guys. Nothing happened.
Nothing
happened.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, but Drew, no. You don't think it's over. I just have to, like, you know that Drew threatened Sidwell, right? You understand this.
So
like,
ridiculous.
Sidwell, an international criminal, okay? Drew knows that it's a bit of a tit for tat situation on the Sidwell Sunny front, right? So they do know that Sidwell himself is some kind of crime lord, right? They know this.
Yes.
And so Drew is like convinced that this international criminal is going to take interest in his lover. And he's going to be like, you know what I'm going to do? Because you threatened me and wanted something from me without giving me anything in return, because you can't give me anything in return, I will help you and your lover. What?
It's so wildly messed up and disproportionate. Like, this is like, but I just love how they're elevating Drew's downfall, right?
What I see is showcasing a multitude of suspects, right? And now there's a second person who knows about Isaiah's cabin. One is Willow,
Yes.
and now Portia knows about this cabin. I do think Drew is going to be spending some time in that cabin. I don't know what is going to happen when Isaiah or Portia find Willow going cuckoo, because it's like you want it, right? Because you're Portia,
Yes.
and you're like, well, you made my life a living hell, and now I've just discovered that your wife-to-be who didn't want to marry you is now locked you up in here. What to do? You know? I'm thinking that over her having an affair with him at his cabin. Like, I don't think you have to go to his cabin to have an affair. He has an apartment.
Yes,
right?
he's
And you have
walking around
closets.
their change room.
Yeah. And exactly. They have the hospital showers and closets at the hospital. But could you, like, that was intense. It's like, oh my God, like you had a 10-hour surgery. It's like, yeah. And I want to shower. And you know what I was thinking about when I got out of that surgery? I was like, I'm like, okay, like the tone of your interaction has shifted tremendously in this moment. And it's weird, guys. Like, it's so
Totally weird. And Stella feels the same as we do. Okay, now. And okay, so speed round. We're so close. They're like 5 feet apart. Britt Joss, they're so close. We're so
Oh my
close
gosh,
to having her
how did
back.
we not? How did we not? Okay, so yeah, Brennan threatening Anna. I loved it because I said to Johnny,
Hilarious.
I'm like, if I was Anna, I would keep taunting him in front of Carly, and she did it. So I was actually
100%.
pretty proud of her for anti Anna Bananaing in that moment.
Me too.
But she's really freaking out, and I love it because I really feel like a part of her is stressed for Jocelyn, and of course I think she
Yeah,
cares about her, but I really think like it really shows that she really wanted to be saved back then. Like
it really does.
that's how I'm seeing it, and I knew she would be the reason why Jason changed his mind because he's like Brit's alive to like Sunny, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
leave her there. I was like, well, no, they're showing her like we need to get her back to Fort Charles. So yeah, when she rushed over there, and then the guy manhandling Brit, and then
Yes.
Vaughn talking, I'm like, turn around. Like she needs to do that.
I'm
And
hoping
then
that
like,
happens on Monday.
but it's so crazy, right? Like there's so many things. Like I'm guessing they wrote it on purpose. But just saying, like Brit coming back is like mind blowing. But it's just how everything is so intertwined, you know? Like the fact that Joss ended up being WSB and that would end up crossing Brit. Like it's insane. All these things, the way that Brit slides in and how that affects the Lulu storyline, right? We already had the bomb of Lulu coming back from a coma and navigating her life. Like it's kind of crazy, like how Brit comes in and it just, I don't know, like she fits, but she also rips everything apart and amplifies and creates a lot of drama. It's just so interesting.
I love it. I
I
love it hard.
can't
And I
wait for
adore her.
I know. I can't wait for Jason to show up. But again, I'm also so scared about what he's gonna do because Anna can't say or it's treason. But what is he gonna do when he finds Joss there? Like, could you imagine? Stuff goes down and
Hmm.
Jason automatically goes to protect her and then watches Joss become an agent in front of his face, like pulling out her own gun or doing all these things. Could you imagine? Like I don't know what Jason would do because he has to be Jason. He knows that she's capable, but she's also like a kid to him and he's going to freeze. Like I don't know. Like I can't even imagine how blindsided he would be.
I know. I cannot wait to see it.
It's going to be insane, especially all the lead up with the Rocco stuff being, well, at least Brit's not here.
I know. It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
Okay, I have two favorite lines, and they're all about Ava.
Okay.
So when Ava goes to meet Alexis, she says, I always make time for my extortionists.
Love that.
And then Christina and Cody, when Christina says, Ava has never met a martini she didn't want to swim in.
Like so freaking good.
So good.
And
So
that's the
good.
thing, like we saw, right? We saw how Alexis is leading in to this little caper with Christina and how happy she is was it working. The smile on her face when Ava showed up. And I'm like, this is so interesting, right? Because you got Alexis, you have Ava being like, I'm going to get you out of this. And Alexis is like, but you know, you can't really underestimate Rick. And it's interesting because it's like, who do you side with? Like right now, Alexis doesn't have a
Right?
choice, right? Because like Ava's here, so she's going with Alexis, but it's so interesting. I think I might put it to a vote, but who do you think can outmaneuver who? Who can out strategize who? Ava or Rick?
Oh, that's a tough one because they both have had many experiences with really shady, dark situations. But
Yeah,
I would never put it past Ava.
exactly. No, but I know Rick is like a worthy
Devious.
opponent. Yeah, devious,
Mm,
but like it's so tight. Like I'm watching Alexis, I'm like, I don't know actually. If you could like
right?
pick someone, I don't actually know who to pick. But yeah, this is kind of nuts how all of this is working out for Molly and having Christina having to grab her. I love all that whole thing. Oh, thank you for going to the pool with me. It is so hard. Hold on. I'm going to go up first. It was like, okay, they baby stepped us through that whole thing, but man, do I feel bad for Molly.
I really do, but that scene with
I
the ice, I
know.
really felt like I should be looking away. Like
I
the
know.
older I get, I'm like, oh, my word.
And I was like, aren't her hands getting cold holding that? How is she still holding that ice?
It's
It was really hot in
Port
there.
Charles acting ice,
Not gonna lie, logistics corner. I'm like, so at what point did
right?
I told Johnny because that was me and be like, stunt person, swap in. Let me the prop ice. I'm not doing this crap. No, thank you.
Yeah. Did you have any favorite lines?
I did, but it was Obrecht's.
Tell me.
I said it earlier,
Oh,
but I'll
yes,
say it
you
again
did.
for the first time. I would tell her not to fall in love with a megalomaniacal Danish terrorist. It was really hard to say, but I said it twice.
I love it. It was amazing. Great line. I love her. And honestly, stars to everybody, but my main stars to like that Obrecht Anna scene, like I said earlier,
Yeah, that was
they
really
just,
great.
oh, that was really amazing. And stars for like everybody this week, except for Drew and maybe Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas totally disappointed me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you need to be hit with a dose of reality. And my cutie pie moment is it has to do with Gio, Emma, and the dog. Dying. So you have Anna trying to navigate this whole situation, and
Right?
apparently that woman from her building thought to go see the mayor.
So crazy.
But then when she walked away with the dog at the pool, and Gio shouts to her, like, "Oh, you're going on a Paw-trol," I was like, no, no. So that's absolutely my cutie pie moment. So for anybody who doesn't know, I have a cutie pie coloring book available now on Amazon. We also have our Instagram page. You can join our cutie pie collection, see what you create. You could send it to us to be featured there. So thank you for supporting us with the podcast, and hope that you support us with the coloring book too. So the handle is at cutie pie coloring. Enjoy.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, folks, I cannot wait until next week. Go check out the coloring book. It's amazing. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.